What's going on, everybody? We just bought this storage unit for $30. It was a 10 by 30. It was the cheapest unit I've ever bought and the biggest unit I've ever bought. It was completely loaded. It took 5 complete trips with truck and trailer to get all this stuff out. What caught my eye on this unit was lots of dust in the front, lots of boxes. So it looks like it's been sitting here for a long time. That usually means a person's been paying for years and years. Turns out this guy has been renting this unit for like over 10 years and just kind of disappeared. But it was a pretty strange unit. Like 90% of the stuff was just garbage, like newspapers, mail, cardboard boxes, just stuff taken straight to recycle. But then the other 10% was this really high-end ham radio, military gear, and like vintage Apple stuff, like the original Apple. So this is what it looks like when I brought it all home. The garage is overflowing, the carport overflowing, the yard overflowing, the enclosed trailer completely full of stuff. It took a long time to unload and sort through all this stuff, but it was definitely worth it. The best item we found in this unit so far was an old Top Gun fighter pilot helmet. It sold for $1,300, which was surprising because I had 2 of them, and the used one that was all beat up sold for almost triple what the brand new one went for. So this is some of the ham radio equipment. What was really nice is that all the original packaging and boxes came in with it. So when I ship these off, I've already got pre-made and pre-formed like styrofoam molds. So I don't have to worry about damaging them as much. Some of the problems though is that they're really heavy, like 50, 60 pound items. So they do cost a lot to ship, but I've been averaging like $300 on each piece. Here's some really cool military jackets. A lot of the stuff seemed to be from the 70s and 80s era. There were a lot of Morse code keypads. One of them sold for like $200. Lots of cool vintage military plaques from the Wisconsin battleship and then the USS Enterprise. It was nice though. A lot of the stuff came with the original packaging, so it was easy to identify what it was. Everything seemed to be in pretty good condition. I listed everything for parts not working just to cover my butt, but I think pretty much all of it worked, even though it's really old stuff. This was kind of a crazy find. I just found it in a trash bag. It was all this old vintage lingerie, and some of it was actually brand new with the tags, and the brand sells for like over $100 a piece. So I was pretty shocked to see how expensive that stuff was. More radio equipment, some Apple products. There are a lot of walkie-talkie and microphones that goes along with the ham radio. This bottle is actually full of alcohol, but I can't sell it, so I'm just selling the empty container. The person was also pretty big into Boy Scouts, so I got a lot of the uniforms and patches that go along with it. And then there are a lot of just unique things in the unit. Boomerang, old license plates. There was a vintage NES Challenger box. Just the box. I couldn't find any of the actual consoles or controllers or anything like that. But the empty box sold for $75 by itself. I also found 4 Game Boy games. And that was the only video games in the unit. Along with those fighter pilot helmets were all the oxygen masks, the anti-G suits, the flight suits, like the whole setup was in here. and each piece is pretty expensive, over 200 bucks a pop. There were two really nice military books. They're kind of like a yearbook with a bunch of photographs. One of them is over 300 bucks. A lot of the old knives were worth a bunch. And then just a lot of, mid-century modern kind of aesthetic lamps, nightshades. A lot of wood tube radios that seem to go for a lot on eBay. There were probably 4 or 5 full sets of these fighter pilot suits. And check out these pants. I've never seen pants pressed this thin. A lot of this ham radio stuff was made in Japan, so it's pretty high-end stuff. One of the big teases in this unit was a travel trunk just full of those coin collector 50 states where you put the quarters in the little holes. There are hundreds of them, and just thousands of quarter rolls, penny rolls that you roll up your money in, but every single one was empty. But then in every box or tote that I opened up, there was just a handful of spare change in the bottom. So we probably ended up with like 20 or 30 pounds of just spare change. And there were a couple silver quarters and silver dimes. So what I'm filming is just the good stuff. All the trash and garbage has already been thrown away, which took me about a week and a half. Lots of cool old vintage shirts. Had some really cool designs on them. Unfortunately, a lot of them were stained or had holes in them. So probably just a buck or two at the yard sale. But they're nice and thick, not like the newer shirts. There were 2 original Apple IIs and a 2 Plus and some accessories with the Apple products that seemed to be pretty valuable. Some joysticks and controllers and stuff. There were a lot of cool vintage books, probably from the 20s and 30s. I started collecting books for decoration. I'm hoping one day to have one of those really big fireplaces with just a bunch of books all over the walls. So I've been collecting, the old leather-bound and nice vintage books. So this was a big unit for that. Probably got close to 100 books for the decoration wall. You can't beat getting household supplies in storage units. Not that you can sell, dishwashing soap for anything, but now I have 3 years of dishwashing soap for free. Along with all the ham radio stuff, there was literally 500 to 1,000 pounds of just cabling. Some of the wiring was marked so I could identify it, but a lot of it was just unmarked wire. So took it to the scrapyard and got about $400 for all the copper. There's a ham radio tower that's probably a 30-foot metal structure with all the antennas and stuff. And one thing I found pretty shocking after I found this Hawaii license plate, when I looked them up, if you find a vintage like World War II Hawaiian license plate, They go for like $1,000, which was kind of shocking to me. There weren't any in this unit, but I just stumbled upon them when I was looking stuff up. So I've had this unit for about a month now, and I've already sold over $10,000 on eBay, and another probably $15,000 worth of stuff currently listed. So we'll probably make, a grand total of $15,000 after all the taxes and fees and stuff on this unit. For $30, this is, again, the cheapest. This is the cheapest unit I've ever bought, and we'll make the most money on this unit. The second best unit we probably made $13,000 or $14,000 off $50. So it's kind of strange. That was the cheapest unit I had bought previous to this one. So I might just start buying cheap units. They seem to work out a lot better than the expensive ones. Thanks for watching. I hope you subscribe and like the video, and come back for more videos soon. Thanks.